Yeah, I see this crazy title, man. Hope y'all doing all right, man. Hey, this is crazy as hell, man.
An elderly woman is accused of killing her neighbor, and apparently his wife said she was powerless to save him. She witnessed the shooting on Baybriar Drive in Missouri City, but says the suspect threatened to kill her if she tried to help her husband.
Blue has constantly harassed them, videotaping their activities.
Look how old she is, fam.
Brandishing a handgun, and more.
Last thing I heard him say was, why you hate me? So I have never did nothing to you, you know?
Right.
Been nothing but good to you. And she shot him 3 times. Pop, pop, pop.
Always wanted to control the neighborhood.
Adrian Thompson only moved in a year ago, but he says he and Daryl became close. Daryl's favorite chair now sitting empty on the lawn.
It's going to be a sad day in the neighborhood for a while because, you know, like I say, everybody always came to Daryl's house.
A house Evans says feels empty without him.
She took my husband from me, my best friend.
Welcome to Explore Crimes. Please.
6-year-old man from Fort Bend County, Houston, was a kind and caring man who was well-liked by his neighbors and deeply devoted to his wife, Tammy. Known for his friendly and helpful nature, Daryl was the type of person who always made others feel welcome and at ease. Tragically, his life was cut short on June 27, 2024. Daryl and his wife, Tammy, moved into their home 13 years ago, hoping for a peaceful life in their new neighborhood. However, from the moment they arrived, they encountered problems with Barbara Blue, who lived right across the street. According to Tammy and other neighbors, Blue started harassing them almost immediately. She would complain about noise, where they parked their cars, and even about children playing outside.
Nigga, they do what they want, nigga. The hell wrong with you? You gonna get mad because they parking their car in their goddamn crib? Well, nigga, they kids wanna go outside and play, let them play. Nigga, they brought that house, nigga. What's wrong with you, old lady?
For the years, her behavior escalated. She began videotaping the Evans family's activities and even flashed a gun at them on several occasions. This constant harassment created a tense and uncomfortable atmosphere that only got worse as time went on. The Evans family believes that the local homeowners association, HOA, made things worse by supporting Barbara's behavior. Tammy and other neighbors felt like the HOA treated Barbara as if she was in charge of enforcing neighborhood rules, which gave her the confidence to act however she wanted. The family thinks that because the HOA didn't step in to stop Barbara's actions, things got out of hand and eventually led to the tragedy. After Daryl was killed, his family didn't just want justice against Blue. They also started thinking about taking legal action against the HOA. They believe the HOA is partly responsible because they didn't do anything to stop the harassment that had been going on for 13 years. They, however, denies any responsibility, saying that Blue wasn't officially part of the HOA board and that the shooting didn't happen on their property. On the day of the shooting, Daryl and Tammy had just returned home when they found Barbara blocking their way in the street. A brief argument ensued, and suddenly, Barbara pulled out a gun and shot Daryl 3 times. Tammy...
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Hold on. We finna get back into the video, but before we do, man, I just want to say, man, if y'all want to keep seeing these videos, man, follow this page right here. Follow this page right here. And follow this last page right here. These are all 3 of my pages right here, man. And, man, follow them up, man. Let's get it. Let's run it up, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Let's get back into the video. You blocking my driveway out, bro. You know what I'm saying? You blocking my driveway out and you in front of my goddamn driveway. I'm gonna roll your ass off. Tell you about it like that. The fuck on my driveway, twin. The fuck on my driveway.
Who was on the phone with 911, tried to help her husband, but Barbara threatened her too, stopping her from providing aid. Despite being rushed to the hospital and undergoing 2 surgeries, Daryl passed away the next day.
An elderly woman is accused of killing her neighbor, and apparently his wife said she was powerless to save him. She witnessed the shooting on Baybriar Drive in Missouri City, but says the suspect threatened to kill her if she tried to help her husband.
Victim's wife said that her husband was really somebody who hung out in the neighborhood, was good to everybody, but this 75-year-old suspect was always giving them issues. She said the 75-year-old suspect really acted as a watchdog, but was more like a bully. And she says that after her husband was shot, she claims that the suspect stopped her from helping him and said that she'd shoot her.
He ain't supposed to go like this.
Tammy Evans says her husband Daryl lost his life inches from their home. According to Houston police, he was shot by his longtime neighbor, 75-year-old Barbara Blue.
Last thing I heard him say was, why you hate me? So I have never did nothing to you, you know, been nothing but good to you. And she shot him 3 times. Pop, pop, pop.
Evans says her husband might still be alive today had Blue allowed her to render aid. Instead, she says Blue turned the gun on her.
I was going back and forth, trying to still go to him. And my husband was on the ground and he had his own, raising his arm up like this saying, go back, Tammy. She gonna shoot you.
Neighbors we spoke to described Blue as a bully. They say she complained about noise, kids playing in the street, and at times where Daryl parked his cars.
I always wanted to control the neighborhood.
Andrian Thompson only moved in a year ago, but he says he and Daryl became close. Daryl's favorite chair now sitting empty on the lawn.
It's going to be a sad day in the neighborhood for a while because, you know, like I say, everybody always came to Daryl's house.
A house Evans says feels empty without him.
She took my husband from me, my best friend.
Blue is currently charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, but those charges could be upgraded pending the investigation.
Aggravated assault? Nigga, that's murder. What? That's a murder. What do you mean aggravated assault with a weapon? That is murder. Don't give her no slack because you're an old woman. That is goddamn murder. Capital murder. Murder. First degree murder.
Out to Blue's attorney, who says she was only recently appointed the case and couldn't comment further.
Police say that on June 27th, she shot 66-year-old Daryl Evans as they stood on Baybriar Drive outside their neighboring homes. Evans's wife Tammy was there as well. She says since the couple married and she moved into her husband's home 13 years ago, Blue has constantly harassed them, videotaping their activities, brandishing a handgun, and more.
You don't need her. That was jealousy from jump. She been jealous. And she also said, right before she shot my husband, she said, you think she pretty?
Now, Blue claims it was Evans who harassed her over the years, and she says that day that he cursed and threatened her, and then she shot him because she feared for her safety. Evans's family also alleges that Blue's actions were sanctioned by the neighborhood association, who considered her the neighborhood watchdog. Today, the family says it plans to sue the neighborhood association in a civil action. I did speak with the association attorney, who said that he did not see any intersection between the shooting and the neighborhood group, since Blue was not an official board member and that the shooting did not happen on association property. Evans died after 2 surgeries in the hospital. It is possible that the charges will be upgraded as the case moves forward.
Yeah, first degree murder.
All right, Sherman, thank you.
After
the shooting, Barbara was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and was released on a $75,000 bond, down from the original $400,000. However, Daryl's family is pushing for the charges to be upgraded to murder. They believe Barbara's actions weren't about self-defense, as she claims, but were motivated by years of resentment and possibly jealousy. Tammy mentioned that just before the shooting, Barbara made a jealous comment about her, which the family sees as a possible motive.
The family of a Fort Bend County man killed in a neighbor dispute want charges in the case upgraded to murder.
They spoke outside the Fort Bend County Criminal Justice Center. Sherman Chow is in the newsroom. Sherman, their 75-year-old neighbor is accused of pulling the trigger, but the family's pointing fingers at others as well.
Yeah, they are, Reka. They also blame the neighborhood association, who they say encouraged the alleged shooter's behavior. Barbara Jean Blue, age 75, made her first court appearance today. She is out on a $75,000 bond for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Barbara Blue, a 75-year-old retiree, claims that she was the real victim in the tragic incident that led to the death of her neighbor, Daryl Evans.
But it's like you'll never know the real truth Unless they had surveillance cameras on there, you know what I'm saying?
According to Blue, she had been harassed and threatened by Evans for years, and on the day of the shooting, she felt she had no choice but to defend herself. Blue alleges that Daryl approached her in a threatening manner, and despite her warnings for him to back off, he continued to advance, leaving her terrified for her life. In a moment of fear,
the fact that that can be true is crazy. And it's like, bro, it's hard to believe. She looks so old and sweet, bro.
Blue says she acted in self-defense, believing that it was the only way to protect herself from what she saw as an imminent threat. She maintains that the shooting was not premeditated, but rather a desperate act to safeguard her own safety.
The 75-year-old woman, now charged after shooting and killing a neighbor in Fort Bend County, is defending herself. Barbara Blue is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after shooting and killing her neighbor, 66-year-old Daryl Evans, in late June. His family has been vocal about the shooting, accusing Blue of being a neighborhood menace who had been feuding with Evans and his family for years. But speaking to KHOU 11 with her attorney and brother, Blue tells us it's the other way around, and she was forced to act in self-defense that day.
Miss Blue.
But, okay, she was forced to act in self-defense, right? Wasn't it premeditated if she got in there? If she stepped on their territory, she was on their property. She blocked them from the driveway, right?
Said, back off, back off. Scared to death, she had a pistol. He would not back off. She shot.
I've heard a lot of lies about me, but the truth will come out.
I'm hoping that the truth comes out and that, you know, she's able to live whatever life she has left peacefully.
Evans' family spoke out earlier this.
That's crazy. You heard he said whatever life she has left. Why is it gonna be whatever? What it can just be like the life she had, you know, whatever life she has left. Live the life she has peacefully, not left. Come on, twin. She's 77.
This week, calling on prosecutors to upgrade the charge against Blue to murder. Evans' widow claims the shooting was premeditated following years of harassment. Right now, Blue is out on bond.
Daryl was known as a loving and supportive husband and a kind person who always put his family first.
Yeah.
He was a calm, gentle soul who made those around him feel at ease. His tragic death has left a huge hole in the lives of his loved ones, especially Tammy, who is now fighting for justice. The Evans family, along with many in the community, believes both Barbara and the HOA played roles in the events that led to Daryl's death. They are determined to see justice served and to ensure that Daryl's memory is honored. His life.
Hey, y'all let me know what y'all think about this, bro. Y'all think the 75-year-old woman telling the truth, or do y'all think the 66-year-old woman was telling the truth, bro? We don't know what happened in that situation. We don't have surveillance cameras. We don't have no proof, no evidence, no nothing. So, you know, what do y'all think is gonna happen? Y'all think the 75-year-old woman gonna get first-degree murder? You think they're gonna change their cases from aggravated assault to first-degree murder? Or do y'all think the 66-year-old woman was lying? Or do y'all think HOH had something to do with it, man? Y'all let me know something, man. Let me know something, man. Let me know something.